I don't know if you guys have looked at the standings recently, but the New Jersey Devils are not doing so hot, currently sitting 5th last in the NHL, and after making all those upgrades this summer, trading for PK Subban and Nikita Gusev, drafting Jack Hughes first overall, Taylor Hall said playoffs or bust this season for the Devils. And if you guys don't know, Taylor Hall currently has 1 year left on his contract, paying him $6 million, and he said a bunch of times how he wants to play playoff hockey. He's only made the playoffs once his entire career, which is pretty insane as he is a very good player, probably a top 5 left winger in the NHL. So it looks like the Devils probably are making the playoffs this year, and if that's the case, I really don't see Hall staying with them, especially if he can get paid even more in free agency. Panarin got 11.5. There's no reason Hall couldn't get that, so basically almost doubling his salary. Now, obviously, if Hall is going to walk, even if, the Devils are, say, kind of on the bubble come trade deadline, I feel like the Devils are probably going to play it safe and trade him away just because they don't want to lose him for nothing, similar to what happened with the Islanders losing Tavares. So in this video, we're going to see what it would cost each NHL team to trade for Taylor Hall. Before I actually do this, I should show you guys how the Devils are doing, because in this, they're actually killing it, unlike real life. Currently first in the division there, 79 points. Gusev's leading scorer right now, 62 points in 61 games, so somehow averaging over a point per game. Taylor Hall has 55 and 61, so almost a point per game. And it's Jack Hughes actually, even though he's got 48 and 61, up 3 overall right now at an 85. So the first line there is tearing it up. All three of those guys together actually are getting +3 chemistry, which I think is a big reason why they're playing so well. So with Hall playing well, we'll see what the computers offer us. And before we click find trade, guys, I first just want to show you Taylor Hall's stats in game in case you're wondering how good he is. So 28-year-old, 89 overall left winger there again, making $6 million with 1 year left on his contract. We already saw how good he's playing this year. Currently averaging 20 minutes of ice time per game. First line forward is his role, in my opinion, for sure a top 5 left winger in the NHL. So we should be getting some good offers here. I'm thinking we'll use LB to find trade open block. That way we hopefully get a few more offers. Definitely curious to see kind of what the computers come up with here. I feel like being at the deadline, it should be more realistic. So the first offer is a pretty nice one from Anaheim. First round pick 2021, Trevor Zegras. They just drafted 7th overall in last year's draft. And Mahura there, medium top 4D defensive prospect. So that's really nice. A lot of times, yeah, I was going to say teams offer 2 trades. Zegras, Mahura, a first in 2020 and a second. So I feel like they're probably in a playoff spot right now, which is why the first in 2021 has more value. But, I mean, they're going to get Taylor Hall and re-sign him. I feel like you might as well take the first and the second. I want to just click on it here and show you guys what Zegras and Mahura look like in game. So Zegras is actually a creative player of mine, 75 overall, playing in the AHL right now and tearing it up. Wow, 21 goals, 17 assists. It's not too bad. Medium top 6 right there. You guys can see his stats. And again, like I said, drafted 7th overall last year. Real life, he's actually playing in college right now. And then Mahura there, 21, 77, medium top 4. He's got some nice stats too. So I feel like for a rental, this is a lot to give up by Anaheim. If I'm the Devils and I know Hall's not going to resign, it's a pretty nice return. And before we move on to the next team, guys, I noticed the Ducks gave us another similar offer. This one, though, is Mahura and Gruel with a first and a second, opposed to Mahura and Zegras, which I think is a much better offer. So Arizona Coyotes here is the next team. Barrett Hayton and 2 first-round picks. That's insane. Barrett Hayton was a 5th overall pick a couple years ago. Most people consider it to be a reach, but he actually did make the NHL this year. If you guys don't know, he's a pretty solid player. 19 years old, 74 overall. He's currently got 85 points in 41 games. It's got to be in juniors. In game, obviously. Right now, he's in the NHL. Pretty good prospect. Usually, I boost him up to high top 6 just to kind of reflect his draft stats a bit better, but getting a top 5 pick back with 2 first-rounders. Again, if I'm the New Jersey Devils, hard to say no to that. And we have another version of the Arizona trade here, guys. Basically, they subbed out one of the 2 first-round picks for 2 seconds and Bal, who's got low top 4D potential. So, I mean, I don't know. Do you want the quality there in a first-round pick, or do you want 2 seconds and Bal? I guess if you trust your scouting staff, the 2 seconds and an already decent prospect might be the way to go. I probably would lean with the 2 first-rounders myself. Next team here is the Colorado Avalanche. Alex Newhook and 2 first-round picks. So teams are coming all out here to get Taylor Hall. Alex Newhook was the Avalanche's 2nd first-round pick last year, 15th overall. He's playing in the BCHL. Now he's playing for Boston College. As you can see here, he's another creative player of mine. 73 overall, medium top 6. He's currently got 23 points right now. Or sorry, that's 33 points right now in 50 games playing the AHL. Pretty good skater, decent shot, awesome hands. So we're getting him with 2 first-round picks. I feel like between this offer and the Coyotes offer, I feel like you probably lean with the Coyotes just because Hayden's a bit more established than Newhook, but still, Some crazy offers here for Hall. And look at this next trade offer, guys. We have the Florida Panthers offering Spencer Knight and a first-round pick. Obviously, they drafted Spencer Knight mid-first round last year, I think 13th overall. And a lot of people are kind of surprised by that draft pick after they signed Bobrovsky, because Florida does need a goalie of the future, but then you get Bobrovsky locked up for 7 years. We'll actually check right now, whatever it is. Even if Knight takes, 4 years to become a starting goaltender, you're going to have basically one of these really good goalies on the bench for a few years. So yeah, Bobrovsky, 31 years old, 90 overall, 9.8 million, still crazy for the next 7 years. Spencer Knight, if he is as good as he's supposed to be, you guys can see I've got him at medium elite, but goalies in this game have less value, which is another big change I like. They're going to have kind of like a goalie controversy similar to Vancouver with Luongo and Schneider in a few years here. So New Jersey, on the other hand, we could really use a goalie. Schneider, with injuries or whatever it was, is just not the goalie he used to be. Blackwood, I kind of had high hopes for myself this year, but he's been pretty average. So getting Spencer Knight back with that first-round pick, I think would be a really nice return for the Devils here. Honestly, that might be the best trade offer yet, just because if Spencer Knight becomes that, elite starting goaltender, it's the thing the Devils need the most. And when checking trades here again, guys, we somehow got a new offer. The Dallas Stars here are now, throwing their hat into the mix, offering us 2 first-rounders, a second-rounder, and Eriksson, medium top 6 potential prospect. I'm actually not too familiar with him, so we'll take a look here. I mean, whenever you get 2 first-round picks back for a rental, you have a good player. Albin Eriksson there, so he's 19 years old, 59 overall, 6'4", so he's a pretty big boy. Second round pick back in 2018. Okay, so a pretty decent prospect. Probably not on the level of the other prospects, but that's where we're getting 2 firsts and a second. Personally, I feel like if you're a team like the Devils making this trade, you definitely want to get something back that is already established, opposed to a bunch of wild cards like picks and unproven prospects. And before we move on to the next team, guys, I noticed that Florida actually made us another offer. So not only did they offer us Knight and a first, they also offered us Noel and 2 firsts. Now, like I said, I think Knight, New Jersey needs a lot more. 2 first-round picks is nice, but they already have a lot of forward prospects, so I feel like in regards to the 2 Florida offers, you definitely take Spencer Knight. Now, the next team here, San Jose Sharks, offering us Ryan Merkley 1-for-1. In-game, he's got medium elite potential. I feel like that's a bit high. I'm pretty sure I had him at low elite last year, and I don't know, Merkley medium elite. He is a good defenseman, currently playing for the London Knights, 69 overall there, medium elite. He's got, 32 points right now in 40 games in juniors. I don't know, though. 1-for-1 for Taylor Hall. I feel like there's been a lot better offers than this. And the final trade offer here, guys, is a big one from the Winnipeg Jets, offering us Ville Heinola, 2 first-round picks, and Matthew Perreault. Now, Heinola was actually like a top-pairing defenseman for the Jets at the beginning of the year when they had all those injuries. I think he had something like 5 points in 8 games, which is really impressive, as he was just drafted in 2019. Then they sent him down to the AHL, and I think literally hours ago they just sent him to Finland, but he's still a very nice defensive prospect. 2 first-round picks, you'd love to see that. And then Perreault probably is there just for the salary cap reasons. Honestly, this is a really nice offer. I feel like to the 2 first, you can't beat that. Heinola, let's see what he's looked like in-game. 77 overall again. I think him playing on that top pair, even only for 8 games, made EA boost his rating. Medium top 4D potential. Was the 20th pick there in 2019. Looked promising to me. And then Matthew Perreault, I feel like, is a decent third-line guy. Obviously, you'd have to eat the salary next year, though, with the $4 million. But the Devils, I think right now, have some cap space. And obviously, if they don't bring Hall back, they'd have even more. Although they are, committed to that his year extension, which, kind of side note, that his year extension, I feel like that was a lot of money for not too much proven. Was he at $7.2 million? And he's just been pretty average so far this year. But a pretty good offer there, nevertheless. So I want to look at all the offers now and kind of decide. If I was Ray Shero, GM of the Devils, and Hall told me he was not going to resign this summer, and these were the offers that kind of came across my desk, and I had to choose one to make sure we didn't lose him for nothing, which one of these would I take? So Zegras, I think, is probably the best forward prospect we were offered. And in fact, we're also getting him with a solid defensive prospect in a first. We had the Arizona offer there. Hayden and 2 firsts is really nice. I think Zegras probably has more potential than Hayden, but Hayden's already more established. They have the other Arizona offer. Newhook and 2 firsts from Colorado is really nice. Dallas offers kind of a bit more quantity than quality, in my opinion. Spencer Knight definitely gives us the thing we need the most. Just a franchise goaltender in New Jersey. I feel like that's probably the weakest point on that team. Like, right now, their forward group's honestly decent. Defense with Subban, I think, now is also pretty solid. Merkley 1-for-1 was probably the worst offer. I think he's a bit overrated in this game, and that's why. And then Heinola there, like, yeah, there's no reason we would take Merkley over Hinola when we can also get 2 first-round picks and Perot. Obviously, eating a bit of salary next year, but the 2 firsts, I feel like Merkley and Hinola are pretty similar in terms of how good of a prospect they are. So, honestly, for me, I think it's between the Jets offer, the Panthers Knight offer, the Hayton and 2 firsts, and then the Zegras Mahura first and a second. And from there, I don't know. Like, if I'm Shero, honestly, I feel like you take the Florida offer here, Spencer Knight in a first-round pick, just because this team on paper should be a lot better, but we need a goalie. And if we're trading away Hall, it's probably going to be a couple years till we're good anyway. And you're building around Jack Hughes now. So when Jack Hughes becomes like a superstar in the league, you'll also have Spencer Knight, hopefully, who'll be a young superstar goaltender. So this is the trade I would accept. We'd love to hear from you guys in the comments section. Which trade would you accept of the ones offered to us? Bachus there getting called up to replace Hall. Obviously, that's going to be tough. And after the trade, guys, no surprise here. Team stats is rebuilder. But honestly, like I was saying, it's still not too bad of a team. Like, you look at the forward group there. You got Wood, Hughes, and Gusev on the top line. Palmieri, Hischier, Bradley. It's not too bad of a top 6. Their bottom 6 is actually really competitive. Kind of have the issue Detroit does, where they have a lot of depth, but just really no superstar, which hopefully for the Devils, Hughes can turn into. Defensively, I think like they have a pretty solid defense there led by Subban. Goalies still aren't the greatest, but again, we made that trade hoping Spencer Knight could kind of turn into that franchise goalie for us. Also, guys, I wanted to show you what the Panthers are looking like after trading for Taylor Hall, and honestly, they're scary. This top 6, I mean, the first line, Huberdeau, Barkov, and Taylor Hall, that's insane. Like, I don't know how you match up against that unless you're Boston or Colorado. The second line there, Dadonov, Trocheck, and Hoffman. It's a pretty sick 1-2 punch. I actually simmed to the end of this season just to see if the Devils in this were able to hold on to their playoff spot, and not only did they do that, they actually won the division with 102 points without Taylor Hall, so I thought it was kind of crazy. Now, the Panthers did make the playoffs just, though. They squeaked in there as a wild card, 93 points. I was going to feel so bad if we traded Hall and then still didn't make the playoffs at the deadline. Gusev there, point per game, 82 and 82. Pretty ridiculous. So I figured just for fun here, we would sim through the playoffs, see what happens. And one thing I actually want to do after we see who wins the draft lottery is sim to free agency and see if it would be possible to sign Taylor Hall back, because that's something the Devils could theoretically do in real life. Trade with the deadline, and then if he's, you know, just to get some pieces back and say, hey, we got all these pieces. If we also get you now signed long term, this team should be ready to go for the future. So it doesn't happen too often, but like that'd be a huge power move. Trade him at the deadline for some awesome return, then still keep him in a couple months or whatever. Now, I just noticed we swept the Canadiens, which is kind of insane. We got the Islanders here in the second round. How this Devils team is playing as good as they are, I have no idea. And wow, I thought we were going to get beat there by the Islanders, but no, we win in 7. The Boston Bruins here in the Eastern Conference Final. Can the Bruins end our Cinderella run? And we lost the first 2. We actually win the third game there. And are you kidding? What is happening? We, wow. We were down, what was that? 2-1, 2-2. We were down 3-2. We lost in OT, and then we won the next 2. A 2-1 OT winner in Game 7 to win the Eastern Conference Final. It's kind of nuts. I'm going to feel so bad. I kind of want to lose. I do not want to win here after trading away Taylor Hall. What is the sim? Trade away Taylor Hall at the deadline for Spencer Knight in a first-round pick, and we win the Stanley Cup against the Winnipeg Jets. I don't even know.
Hey, that's pretty good.
And right here's a look at the draft lottery results. Chicago there winning first overall, jumping up from 4. New York Rangers jumped from 11 to 2. So back-to-back years picking second. Probably add Quentin Byfield. And after winning the Stanley Cup, guys, I was curious how our players did in the playoffs, and check this out. They tore it up. Nikita Gusev, 29 points, 24 games. Actually won the Conn Smythe. Jack Hughes also had 29, and he's grown a ton. Now an 87 overall after his rookie year. He put up just under 60 points in that first season. Gusev up to an 85. Hischier there had 26, so he also had over a point per game in the playoffs. Palmieri 22 is not bad. Brad at 18. He's actually up to 84. I think Hischier also got a pretty big upgrade, now an 86. So, honestly, definition of a Cinderella story. Trade away your best player. They kind of did what the Washington Nationals did, I guess, this year in baseball, except they didn't trade away their best player the offseason before. They did it at the trade deadline, which is kind of unreal. You can see the playoff tree there. Jets actually went best of 7 every single series up to the final there. We beat them in 6. I guess I'll show you guys the awards really quick. I think aside from Stanley Cup and the Prince of Wales and the Conn Smythe, we didn't get any for the actual season, but you guys can see all the winners there. Kako actually won the Calder over Hughes. As I went and checked it, he had like 5 more points and I think 4 more goals. But I'll show you guys what's actually kind of interesting. Ranta there, big year for Arizona, is that even though Kako had a better season, won the Conn Smythe, he had like 5 more points or whatever it was. He's actually lower rated than Jack Hughes. So right here, Jack Hughes, you can see 59 points, 82 games, like I said, 87 overall. And then you compare that to Kako here. He had 68 points with 26 goals, and he's currently in 83. So I thought that was interesting. Probably has to do with the fact he has medium elite, whereas Hughes has high elite.
20 minutes later.
So I just finished saving through the summers. I want to show you guys what the Devils could look like next year after trading away Taylor Hall at the deadline. Obviously, they have tons of cap space to work with. Actually bought out Corey Schneider, giving us even more cap space. Unfortunately, Taylor Hall was not in free agency, but because the Florida Panthers chose to re-sign him, they did have to let a couple guys go to free agency, including Davinov and Hoffman, and we were actually able to sign one of them. So as you guys can see right here, this is what the Devils will look like. Post-Hall era, I guess you'll call it. Hoffman, Hughes, and Gusev on the first line. Palmieri, Hischier, and Bratt on the second. And as you can see there, Hischier is actually up to an 87 overall, just like Hughes. So a pretty nasty 1-2 punch down the middle. You got Wood, Coleman, and Toffoli on the third line. I also signed Toffoli along with Hoffman. Simmons we brought back, playing with Zajac and Bachfist on the fourth line. Bachfist there up to an 80. Defense here, signed Muzzin, who I think was the best defenseman available in free agency. Pairing him up with Subban, should be a really nice top D pair. Severson, Butcher on the second pair, Mueller and Carrick on the bottom. And then in goal here, obviously bought out Schneider. Didn't feel like Blackwood was good enough to be our starter. Signed Robin Leonard there out of free agency. Chicago actually let him and Crawford both go to free agency. Not really sure what they're doing. And Blackwood actually grew, though, up to an 84. So he can be a better backup behind Leonard. I feel like New Jersey would have the goalie situation figured out. And, of course, with the addition of Muzzin on D, Hoffman, and Toffoli at forward, along with the growth of Hughes and Hischier, I feel like this team should be set up pretty nicely. I think 2 in the draft, I just auto-drafted, but we got Jamie Drysdale, so not too bad at all for a late first-round pick. But that is going to be it, guys, for this video. Kind of turned into like a Devils next year rebuild, as well as a Train Hall the deadline video. But when you win the Stanley Cup after trading Taylor Hall, anything can happen. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, leave that thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.